All right, everyone. Good evening and welcome. Once again, it is Friday night. It is 7 p.m. and it is time for another live stream. Hope you guys have had a great week. It's been a relatively fast week for me, thank goodness. Glad to be Friday night here. And let's see, we've got Buddy, we've got Matt, and we've got Karen in the chat. Hope you guys are ready because we've got some pretty cool stuff planned for this week. So, without further ado, we are going to get started with a couple of news items that I think you guys will find pretty interesting. We're going to kick things off with a ghost ship. How about that? You should. Too bad this didn't show up during October. That would be the best time to have a news article on a ghost ship, right? But anyway, let me start our slides here. Let's see. Image file. No, that's not what I want to do. I want to share screen. Window, and there we go. All right. So, yeah, a ghost ship, guys. So check this out. Malaysia responded to report of ghost ship drifting towards oil rig. The Malaysian Maritime Enforcement Agency received a report on August 12th from an oil rig located in the Gulf of Thailand that a ghost ship was drifting towards its location. The vessel appeared to be burnt out and abandoned, raising safety concerns for the oil platforms. The abandoned vessel was spotted approximately 4 nautical miles from the Semangkok A offshore oil rig, which is located next to Terengganu in northeast Malaysia near the border with Thailand. The oil platform crew reported it to the MMEA at 4:45 p.m. local time on August 12th, raising concern about the vessel. The unmanned vessel had entered the oil rig's waters and risked colliding with the offshore platforms nearby. Our special task and rescue star team managed to board the tanker at about 6:58 p.m. yesterday and secure it with a tow line to another vessel. They are still investigating, but they believe it is the same ship that was reported on fire on August 7th near the southern tip of the Malaysian peninsula. A local fisherman had reported seeing a tanker on fire approximately 36 miles east of Tanjung Sideli Kechel. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. The MMEA conducted a search and rescue mission and reported recovering 4 Indonesian crew members who were transported to a hospital on shore. A 5th individual, a 42-year-old Indonesian, had died during the incident. They have recovered the Hulk, and it is now being towed to the supply base in northern Malaysia. The MMEA plans to inspect the ship to confirm its identity. They will also search for any other victims that might still be aboard the vessel. Anna's here. Welcome, Anna. Yeah, today's lesson, an abandoned ghost ship. Who all saw the movie Ghost Ship from like the early 2000s? Does anyone remember the name of the ghost ship that was in the movie? Let's see. Waiting for answers. Let's see. Does anybody know? I think I remember that movie. Yeah, it came out in like '02 or '03, something like that, and it was about an abandoned ocean liner that essentially became a ghost ship. Does anybody know? Let's see. Let's see. Antonia Grazia. Yes, Anna got it right. Yes, Antonia Grazia. American Loyalist is here. Yes. Yes, Americans, stay tuned. I think you're going to find tonight very interesting. Eric, welcome as well. Oh, I love that too. I love that movie as well. So let's move on to our next news item. And it is this odd looking little ship right here. And you can clearly see that's a Navy vessel. So what is this ship here? Let's take a look into that. So this is the USX-1 Defiant. Defiant demonstrates path to accelerate U.S. shipbuilding and strengthen naval fleet. August 11th is when this is from. DARPA has marked a traditional naval milestone with the christening of USX-1 Defiant, a first of its kind autonomous unnamed surface vessel designed from the ground up to never accommodate a human on board. The ceremony took place August 11th at Everett Ship Repair in Everett, Washington. The demonstrator for the No Manning Required Ship program, the Defiant, has a simplified hull design to allow rapid production and maintenance in nearly any port facility or Tier 3 shipyard that traditionally supports yacht, tug, and workboat customers. The 180-foot-long, 240-metric-ton lightship is completing final systems testing in preparation for an extended at-sea demonstration of reliability and endurance. Excuse me. Defiant is a tough little ship and defies the idea that we cannot make a ship that can operate in the challenging environment of the open ocean without people to operate her, NOMAR's program manager Greg Avicola during the ceremony. While relatively small, Defiant is designed for extended voyages in the open ocean, can handle operations in Sea State 5 with no degradation, and survive much higher seas, continuing operations once the storm passes. She's no wider than she must be to fit the largest piece of hardware, and we have no human passageways to worry about. The NOMARS program leapfrogs conventional thinking about unmanned ships, with a goal to minimize the need for optionally manned vessels and safely demonstrate the reliability and capability of fully unmanned systems to strengthen the nation's defense industrial base. Defiant-class vessels provide cost-effective, survivable, manufacturable, maintainable, long-range, autonomous, and distributed platforms which will create future naval lethality, sensing, and logistics. Defiant will protect and expand the capabilities of manned ships, multiply combat power at low cost, and unlock new American maritime industrial capacity. After completing the at-sea demonstration, Defiant will be turned over to the U.S. Navy's Unmanned Maritime Systems Program Office. DARPA is working closely with the Navy to identify a pathway to ensure capabilities and technologies demonstrated throughout the NOMARS program are accessible for rapid transition and integration, are scalable, and support international defense partnerships. In the reconciliation bill, which passed in July of this year, Congress appropriated $2.1 billion for development, procurement, and integration of purpose-built medium unmanned surface vessels. Upon transition to PMS 406, Defiant will be the Navy's first solely autonomous versus hybrid manned unmanned MUSV. So there you have it, guys. The very first ship for the Navy that does not have a human on board. It is not suited to have humans on board. There are no passageways. There's no there's no galley. There's nothing. There's nothing at all on this ship for humans. Let's see. Eric asks what it's powered by. They did not say in that article, Eric, but this, Anna, yes, it only takes one big wave and it's gone. Sea State 5. I like this kind. Sea State 5 is only 8 to 12 foot waves. So this would probably flip over pretty bad or capsize or something in some pretty rough Atlantic or Pacific waters. I do not know where it's going to patrol yet either, or go on its maiden voyage, so to speak. But still, the idea of unmanned ships could be the future of the Navy. What do you guys think about that? That's pretty out there. Let me do something here real quick. Let's see. And there we go. Let's give some memberships real quick. Let's see. Oh, Anna, congratulations. You got one of them. So it's like the USS Monitor. I'm not sure about that, Loyalist. I mean, maybe comparable in maybe size and gross tons. Too easy to be hacked by enemy. Well, we do not know that for sure. They should test it in Lake Superior in November. Okay. Well, you're most certainly welcome, Anna. I wish this is the only thing that really annoys me about doing the gifted memberships, because I cannot choose who gets them. It's completely random. And I've made my feelings known to YouTube about that. I would much rather have people who are here all the time and have them be recipients of the memberships, but it just doesn't work that way. Monitor was very low on the water. Newport News has a life-size mock-up and was revolutionary too. Okay, we've got one more news item, and this news item, coincidentally, is courtesy of USS Kidd Veterans Museum. I found this article on their Facebook page. Give me a second to pull it up. Let's see. Bear with me a second. Billy's at a football game. No worries, Billy. No worries at all. Have fun. Okay, here we go. This is the modern USS New Orleans, which I did not know there was a modern USS New Orleans in our fleet. But anyway, a fire that burned for 12 hours aboard the amphibious warship USS New Orleans LPD-18 off Okinawa, Japan, was declared extinguished early Thursday morning local time, U.S. 7th Fleet announced. The 25,000-ton warship is now anchored near the White Beach Naval Facility. I lost my spot. Let me restart. The warship is now anchored near the White Beach Naval Facility on Okinawa, according to a statement from the Japan-based fleet. The fire began at approximately 4 p.m. August 20th. The cause of the fire is currently under investigation. New Orleans sailors' firefighting efforts were supported by the crew of the San Antonio class amphibious transport dock ship USS San Diego LPD 22, which is moored at White Beach Naval Facility. According to the Sea Service, 2 sailors suffered minor injuries and were treated aboard New Orleans. The crew will remain aboard New Orleans with additional accommodations available on San Diego and ashore. Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force and Japan Coast Guard assets assisted with firefighting effort, reads the 7th Fleet statement. The Japan Coast Guard told Japanese broadcaster NHK a call for assistance came from New Orleans around 5 p.m. local time, about an hour after the Navy said the fire began. Let's see. I'm going to skip a little bit of this. There's an update to the article. That's why I'm skipping some of it. A fire aboard the San Antonio class ship was declared extinguished. Firefighting. Yep. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's essentially the gist. Let's see. Eric Shoot. This ship was built in Avondale, Eric? This USS New Orleans here? This one, I forgot to turn off the stove. This is, by the way, what the ship looks like. The modern USS New Orleans. Not a terrible thing looking ship. I don't know what these peaks are. That's the only thing that's kind of a Uncle Sam, first time live with you. Welcome. So yeah, guys, that is the modern USS New Orleans right there. And I mentioned that this, let's see, give it 8 out of 10. I'm going to go with, if I had to give it this ship like a rating, I'd probably go with like a 7 or something. What kind of ship is it? Let's see. What class of ship is this? USS New Orleans LPD 18. She is a San Antonio class amphibious transport. She is the 4th commissioned ship of the United States Navy to be named after the city of New Orleans. I cut some steel for the lead ship in the class, the New York. No kidding. Wow, that's pretty amazing, Eric. How about that? All right, let's move on to our This Week in History segment. We got some interesting ones here, guys. So let me pull it up. All right. This Week in History. August 18th, 1920. The 19th Amendment was ratified after Tennessee, by just 1 vote, became the 36th state to approve it, giving women the right to vote in the United States. And am I going to hurt your feelings again? I didn't know I hurt your feelings before. My apologies. All right. The next one, I do not have a picture for this one because I couldn't find anything that I felt comfortable showing. August 19th, 1934, some 90% of German voters approved a referendum that made Adolf Hitler Führer and Reichskanzler. In other words, leader and chancellor. Janie last week. Oh no, no celebrity deaths in this week's This Week in History. So let's move on to the next image, and let's see. No, that's not what I want. There we go. So August 20th, 1833, Benjamin Harrison became the 23rd President of the United States, 1889 to 1893, despite losing the popular vote by more than 95,000 to Grover Cleveland. Let's see, on August 22nd, 1978, the U.S. frigate United States captured the French schooner Sans Peril in the Caribbean. On the same day in 1966, the USS Iwo Jima landed Marines east of Saigon as part of Operation Deckhouse 3. Wow. That's some pretty cool info right there, Uncle Sam. Air correction, the lead ship was the New York. Yeah, no worries. Let's move on to our next one. Everybody should know what that is. On August 21st, 1911, Leonardo da Vinci's Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre by 3 Italian handymen. It was not recovered until 1913. Think about that for a second. It was taken in 1911 and not recovered until 1913. So, in the entirety of Titanic's very short life, the Mona Lisa was missing. How about that? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I seem to remember the Mona Lisa was on the SS United States at some point. Can somebody look into that? Okay. This should look familiar to you guys. August 21st, 1942, Bambi was released in theaters. And let's see, we've got one more. Yes, of course. August 23rd, 1305. William Wallace was executed for treason, condemned for leading Scottish resistance forces during the first years of the long and ultimately successful struggle to free Scotland from English rule. How about that? Uncle Sam, yes, the painting was a passenger on the SS United States. It sailed on the ship's return voyage to France in 1963 after being exhibited in Washington, D.C. and New York. How about that? That's amazing. Eric, freedom. Well, Eric, okay. Who all saw the movie and what did you think of it? I had not watched it for a few years after it was released. And if those artist renditions are accurate of what William Wallace may have looked like, Mel Gibson doesn't look a whole lot like William Wallace. But I really enjoyed the movie. Some of you guys had to have seen this movie. You love sword fighting, but you never saw this movie. I think it's a very good movie. I think it was nominated and won a few Academy Awards. Let's see. Okay, so that is everything I have got for this week in history, guys. Right. Okay. So I mentioned earlier we got an article from USS Kidd, and let's see. Still good. I watched it like 2-3 months ago. It's still pretty good historically speaking as well. Yeah, I've not seen this movie in a number of years, and like I said, I really enjoyed the movie, and it might be time for a rewatch because again, I've not watched this movie in many years. Excuse me. Buddy asks, how the kids doing? Well, it's funny you should ask, buddy. Here's USS Kidd, guys. DD-661 in dry dock in Houma, Louisiana. For those who may not have been keeping up, although you guys know I talk about it all the time, but just to reiterate what's happening with Kidd, she is in her final months of dry dock. This image was taken by me, by the way. When is she going to be back at the museum? I'm going to get to that, buddy. The original contract they had with the shipyard, that work was completed last month in July, and they secured more funds to keep the ship in dry dock a few months longer to get essentially some wish list items done. And that's going to probably be complete in either October or November. From that point, they have not announced where Kidd is going to go, because she cannot go straight back from dry dock to her cradle in Baton Rouge because the water levels in the Mississippi are going to be too low. So I would imagine they're going to tie her up somewhere. They might keep her in Houma somewhere, or my guess is they're going to tie her up somewhere in New Orleans or somewhere a little bit further downriver near Baton Rouge until the river is high enough again to get her back into the cradle. So is this the kid that shot the live torpedo at the USS Iowa with FDR in it? Sam, I've never heard that story before. I don't think so. I have to check with Tim on that because I would think at some point Tim would have told me about this. I have never heard that. I highly doubt that it's this ship. But anyway, I got another angle of her, and here she is. Let's zoom into her. I can always text him, Anna, but I won't do that during the live stream. But I will, of course, ask him about it. So yeah, we can zoom in a little bit, and you can see all of the deck and the superstructure, all the painting, and that work is essentially complete. This extra work they're doing in dry dock is mostly hull work. That's why you can clearly see the hull has not been painted yet. And if you zoom in way down here, you still got a big piece of the outer skin missing here. So they're still doing hull work. It's going to be amazing to see what she looks like when she's finished. I got something else. Let's see. Eric, that was William D. Porter DD-579. Is that a Fletcher class ship? So is the side going to get the fancy paint too? It absolutely will, Anna. DD-579 USS Porter. Let's see what ship that is. It is a Fletcher. USS Porter is a Fletcher class destroyer. Very cool. I've actually never heard the story of Iowa having a friendly fire incident with a torpedo being fired at it. I'm gonna have to look into that. So we're gonna move on from the USS Kidd to the USS Kidd. So now we need the story of the torpedo. It happened November 14th, 1943. I am definitely going to have to look into that. So, guys, here's another shot of USS Kidd, except it's not USS Kidd. It's not DD-661. This is the modern USS Kidd. She's an Arleigh Burke class destroyer, DDG-100, and she is in dry dock as well in Seattle. And they have posted some photos of this ship. And some of these have captions to them, not all of them. But let's see. We're going to look through these. Let's see. Let me see if I can find. Okay, here we go. So what we're looking at here, we're standing on the bow. We're looking aft, or the forecastle, whichever you prefer to call it. And she's getting a whole lot of love. All the kids are in daycare. Well, not all of them, Eric. Not quite all of them. But yeah, here she is. She's again there's the one gun that the ship has. You can see it right here. That's the only gun, so to speak, on the entire ship. This here, this looks, of course, like it's on the inside. This is CIC from port looking starboard. Now, they don't say if this is looking forward or aft. Let's zoom in. What is that sign? Bolts removed. Equipment is staged for removal. Okay. Next one. This is a new port bridge wing. I don't know if this is just a repair or an expansion. It almost looks like it might be an expansion because you can see it's clearly a different color, or I don't know if it's just a complete redo. Still in all, let's see. This here is CCS from aft looking forward. And right here, this is pretty obvious. We can all tell what this is. This is the forward port side looking aft. You see that here's here's the prow right here. So that's what's going on with the DDG-100. Now, I mentioned not all of the USS Kidds are getting a spa treatment, so to speak. Who can tell me how many ships are named after Admiral Isaac Kidd? We know 661, the DDG-100 here. Are these the only two ships named after Admiral Isaac Kidd? Was there any more besides these two? See what you guys got to say. Anybody got a guess? Let's see. Okay, so yes, Eric, that's what I was looking for. USS Kidd DDG-993, and this is the one in the middle. So 661, which is the one we always talk about, you know, the USS Kidd Veterans Museum, that was the first ship named after Admiral Kidd. Excuse me, Rear Admiral Kidd. USS Kidd DDG-993. These are a few more photos of the 100, but we're going to have to get moving along here. That's the modern Kidd. This is the USS Kidd DDG-993. The Kidd class, this is the lead ship of the class. They were this was the second ship named for Rear Admiral Isaac Kidd. The DDG-100 was the third. So these ships were originally made for the Shah of Iran, but when the Islamic Revolution happened in 1979, obviously the United States government is going to say, well, we're not giving you brand new warships. We're not friends anymore. So these were incorporated into our Navy for a number of years. This USS Kidd does still exist, although she is not the USS Kidd anymore. Let me see. Let's see. Tim actually told me where she's serving now. Let's see. Bear with me a sec. I got to remember what his response was. She is in the Navy in Taiwan now. So, and she is not named USS Kidd anymore. So that's what's going on with our USS Kidds. This one was transferred or sold, however they did it, to Taiwan in the early 2000s. I want to say it was 2003. So yes, that is correct, Anna. Su Ying is her name now. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Loyalists, are you still here? Here we go, guys. We're going to spend the final half of the live stream here talking about Patriots Point. These are some museum ships in Charleston, South Carolina, which, by the way, I may be visiting, if not before the end of this year, hopefully before summer of next year. So these photos were all taken by American Loyalist, which is here in the chat. He was kind enough to give me permission to show some of his photos here on the stream from a recent visit he made. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend the last half hour or so looking at some of these. So this, of course, is USS Lexington CV-10. Who knows what kind of or what class the Lexington is? You see, you've got to walk across this ramp all the way down to the ships. It would be a long day. Didn't even get to see the whole Yorktown. Did I think Lexington? I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I'm getting my aircraft carriers confused here. I don't know why I said that. Let's see. In fact, I'm going to pull up their website. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know why I said. I don't know why I said that. Essex class. One of her sisters will get the big U as a neighbor. Are you talking about the what is it, the Oriskany that's over there off the coast of Florida? So, and also, if you look over to the far left here, there's a destroyer right here, USS Laffey, who most famously had the nickname the ship that would not die. So USS Laffey. Well, I'll wait. Let's get a nicer picture of the Laffey before I go into some fun facts about her. So here we go. We got a nice wide shot of USS Laffey right here, and she is a DD-724, most decorated World War II era destroyer still in existence. Soon after the invasion, Laffey was damaged by German shore battery that pierced her hull, yet failed to explode. I want to get to this part where she was bombarded with a whole bunch of. Here it is. On April 16th, 1945, during a Japanese Kabusi raid, the Laffey was attacked by 22 bombers and kamikaze, killing 32 men and wounding 71 of the 336 crew members. The heroic crew shot down 9 kamikaze and saved the damaged ship, earning her the nickname, the ship that would not die. You should go do a stream on the Bermuda Triangle and the ships that go missing. That would be a cool stream. That would take a lot of research though, because I can't imagine how many ships are out there. Oh, buddy says happy early 4-year anniversary. Have I been on YouTube for 4 years? It don't feel like 4 years, but thank you, buddy. Let's see. Nevada is the unsinkable, Sam says. And oh, here's an even nicer shot of Laffey. And you're going back there again next year. Who knows what class USS Laffey is? She's not a Fletcher. I'll tell you guys that much. She's not a Fletcher. Anybody know? No, nobody. She's not a Fletcher. Yes, Eric, you are correct. She is an Allen M. Sumner class destroyer. Yep, and I got it too. All right. So here's another shot. Loyalist, how much was the ticket to do the museum? I'm curious because, like I said, I'm going to be going out there. And by the way, I mean, and I know you can't see that, but this is looking south. The Laffey is facing south. The Yorktown is facing north. But south is not that far from here, and you got to take a boat ride, is Fort Sumter. So I will definitely probably make a couple of days out there in Charleston because I want to see both these ships and I want to see Fort Sumter as well. This looks like we're back. This looks like on the Yorktown. You also had the captain tour that led us into the captain cabin. Nice. This looks like the bridge on the Yorktown because it looks like this is facing north. Yep. The Yorktown Bridge. One of those glass. No, that's okay. That's cables outside. I thought that was like broken glass for a second. In charge this space. This looks like the Laffey. It looks like it might be the bridge on the Laffey. Yeah, Eric, pretty high up too. Yeah, the Midway was like that as well. When you're looking down, we got to go on the bridge on the Midway, and when you're looking down, you see the entire San Diego Bay, and it's a beautiful, stunning shot looking out of the ship. Okay, Loyola says this is the Yorktown as well. Okay. In the island, okay. So I'm guessing this is taken from the Laffey because we're looking at the very stern of the Yorktown here. You can see a plane up there on the deck. Here's another cool shot. I wonder if they're doing repairs right here. Or maybe painting or something. See this giant, I don't know, tarp for a lack of a better word. And let's see what's next. So this looks like we're on the Laffey, and again we're looking south. You can see the two forward turrets right here. I don't know what's going to happen if Laffey ever has to go to dry dock because she's blocked in. You've got this pier right here between the two ships, and of course the Yorktown is to the right over here. I want to pull that up on Google Maps. Bear with me a second, guys. I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. She looks completely enclosed. Let's see, Charleston, where's Patriots Point? Yeah, so I'm going to show this to you guys here. She did so once back when the submarines and Savannah was there. Might be set up like Bama when she doesn't need to leave. Maybe, but let's see. Bama's in a cofferdam. North Carolina is in a cofferdam. Let's see. All right, I got to do this. Bear with me a second. Let's see, share screen. Google Maps. All right, here we go. So we're looking, here we are. This is the museum right here. There's the ramp walking up to the ships. Here's Laffey right here. And here is Yorktown. It doesn't look to me like she's in a cofferdam. This looks like a pier, and from looking at the pictures, it is a pier. So she's not completely enclosed. So yeah, if they got to go to dry dock for any reason, I don't know what they're going to do. Olympia is in a cofferdam. All right. Okay, let's go back to our pictures. Let's see. All right, here we go. back to our pictures. So let's move on. Little lifeboat for the Laffy right here. So this looks like he's on the bow, and this is the forwardmost turrets right here because you can see the other two behind them. And again, we know for sure this is forward because Laffy's facing south, Yorktown is facing north. That looked so little. All right. Here we go on the flight deck for the Yorktown. We've got a Blue Angel right here. Midway has a photo just like this. In fact, or not a photo, like a mannequin or whatever with, the guy on the flight deck, doing that gesture. Excuse me, doing that gesture. In fact, when I talked about when I went to the Midway, when we did that stream a few weeks ago, this is the thumbnail. That's this right here. That there, crop it in like that. That's a great shot right there. Yeah. All right. I've seen that bridge a lot on Google Maps. I always like to go on Google Maps and look at these museum ships. And here we go. We got a nice plane right here. If any of you guys are World War II or whatever plane experts, feel free to chime in. I do not know much about planes, so if any of you guys know what these are, drop it in the comments. Let me know. Steam-powered catapult. Now this, let's see. F4 Fulcrum. So here, this is the bow, because you can see the Laffy over there on the left. Loyalists, it looks like you guys had some bad weather that day. Let's see. So there's the Blue Angel plane again. So they've got several planes. I had a friend of mine that does model building. Like he's a pro at it. He does commissioned work. I'll bet if I had him on here, he could probably tell us every single one of these planes because that was his specialty. He loves building model planes. All right, so here, this is the Captain's Bridge. It didn't actually rain till night. We were staying in Little River, South Carolina, next to North Myrtle Beach for 2 weeks during this. Okay. F4U Phantom. Okay. So yeah, Captain's Bridge right here. This is clearly on the Laffy. Let's see what that. Tim would be so proud. Also known as the Flying Bridge. The forward bridge allows the captain to see more of the deck and improves his vision of the ship's surroundings. Yeah, and you can see there's that big bridge over there off in the distance. Opposite view. I think there's some photos of the ship from the other side of the bay. All right, let's see. I think that might be the last one that I took. Yeah, so that's the last one right there. I didn't grab all of them because there was a ton. I probably should have grabbed more than this. I didn't think I would get through them that fast. But anyway, what are some of the museum ships that you guys have been to? List of museum ships that you've been to in the chat. Let's see. For me, think of it in the same way I think of states. I go from like if I'm looking at a map of the country, I go from left to right. I've been on the Midway, Kidd, Alabama, Drum, Texas, Stewart, Cavala, North Carolina. So 8 different ones. Let's see. Loyalist has been to North Carolina, Olympia, and Patriots Point. Excellent. Buddy, Kidd, and Alabama. Then that's it. Well, those are two great options, buddy. Let's see. Eric, I've only been on the Kidd in the Andalusia. I've never heard of that ship. And I've been on the Intrepid, but it wasn't for the museum. It was for an event, so not really. Buddy, and the Mayflower. Let's see. Uncle Sam is USS Batfish. I got to go sleep in the submarine with Boy Scouts. She is located in Muskogee, Oklahoma War Memorial Park. She's also known to sink 3 Japanese submarines under 72 hours, still holding the record during World War II. Isn't she moving to a different spot in Oklahoma? I seem to remember reading something about that. I might have lost a lot of photos from what I did. Yeah, I did see your pictures of the props. Lois did forget USS Wisconsin and Norfolk. Oh wow, Loyalist, you're one lucky cat. Big Whiskey has been on my bucket list for quite a while. You can see him SS 310. Okay, I got you, Eric. The Spanish galleon that visited Baton Rouge a few years ago was berthed right next to Kidd. Nice. Yeah, I want to read. I want to look up about the Batfish because I seem to remember reading that the Batfish was going to get a new home. USS Batfish. Let's see. News. Muscogee's War Memorial Park relocates to Three Forks Harbor near USS Batfish's new home. Let's see. Actually, I want to read this one because this one looks more specifically towards the Batfish. An Oklahoma landmark is at risk of being lost forever if it's not moved to a new site. There's a call for lawmakers to get involved and new renderings of what could be at Three Forks Harbor. It comes as the War Park Memorial Authority is championing the new effort to move and restore the Batfish. Yeah, okay. Let's get something more recent. Okay. After 52 years in its original spot, Muscogee's War Memorial Park and Museum is relocating to a temporary location at Port Muscogee's Three Forks Harbor. It marks the first phase of the long-anticipated relocation of the USS Batfish to its permanent home at the museum. Meanwhile, the museum exhibits will be temporarily housed inside the Robinson Gallery and Event Center near the Batfish's future site at Three Forks Harbor. This is an important first step toward giving the Batfish the permanent home it deserves. We're grateful to the state of Oklahoma and all those who continue to support our mission as we move forward with a vision that honors our veterans and preserves this historic vessel for future generations. On May 22nd, the Oklahoma legislature approved House Bill 2794, allocating $4 million in fiscal year 26 for the USS Batfish to help relocate the historic military vessel and Oklahoma landmark. The museum relocated on July 4th, and operating hours will be posted, so forth and so on. Yep, so she did get a new home. Let's see. Cool. All right. A piece of USS Oklahoma's hull is with Batfish. Oh, I did not know that. That's really nice. Yeah, there's Batfish in Oklahoma, and there's a sub in Arkansas as well. I forget which sub is in Arkansas. Let's see. Submarine in Arkansas. The USS Razorback, which makes sense, you know, Arkansas Razorbacks. Yep, AAT Titanic is about to dock at its destination. That is correct. Yes, USS Razorback. It is, let's see. Let me find some information about it. USS Razorback was, or is SS-394. She is a Vallejo-class submarine. Keel was laid on the 9th of September, 1943. She was commissioned on April 3rd, 1944. Razorback conducted 5 combat patrols during World War II, sinking Japanese vessels, capturing Japanese POWs, and rescuing American pilots who had been shot down. At the end of World War II, she was one of only 12 submarines selected to be present in Tokyo Bay when the Japanese surrender was signed. So there's another one. Yes, AAT Titanic loyalist. All American Travels. Yeah, the AAT Titanic does not sink. My book that was written by, I forget, written space upon submarine, but they talked about Yamato or Yamato battleship being on the radar. Cool. All right. Well, guys, we're just about at an hour, so I'm going to probably just go ahead and wrap this up a few minutes early. I'm going to try. I don't know for sure if I'm going to do a stream next week. I may kind of take the week off since it's Labor Day, unless, of course, I can get a guest, you know, if I can convince, you know, Tim or Park Stevenson or someone else to come on. Here's a fun fact about Batfish. They actually put a hand over her money when she was sunk. Oh, cool. Have you ever heard of the USS Tang, Sam? If you've never heard of the USS Tang, I've been talking about that submarine a lot lately on streams. I would definitely go and recommend checking the story out about the Tang if you've never heard of it. Let's see, you can't get Parks on until I'm done reading the Coast Guard report. Well, I don't know if he would be wanting to talk about the Titans, but if he wants to talk some more Titanic, if he wants to talk more about the Johnston or the Sammy B, because I know those are topics that he's really into as well. I'm pretty sure he dived to the Johnson. I don't know if he dived to the Sammy B, but I know he's familiar with it. So, you know, those would be some good ones to talk about. Did Parks serve on the Kidd? No, loyalist. Parks did not serve on the Kidd. But he is the executive director of the museum, and of course, one of the world's leading experts on Titanic. All right, guys, that's going to wrap us up for this week. Thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out with me as always. Eric just finished Destroyer Captain. I finished it a few months ago, Eric, and yes, it is a very good book. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it as always. Sam, welcome. We do this normally every Friday at 7 o'clock. You know, hopefully you'll come and hang out with us again. So, guys, thanks again for watching. And until the meantime, as always, you guys know the drill. Drive safely.